Alright, so before I start the video, I'm gonna put an epilepsy warning here because after rewatching the footage that I just recorded, I'm seriously worried that it might actually trigger seizures in people that have epilepsy because it has some very violent flashing lights, and I've seen videos that were far tamer than this and they still had an epilepsy warning. So, warning, this video may potentially trigger seizures for people with photosensitive epilepsy. Viewer discretion is advised. Alright, so hey guys, welcome to another Warframe video, and today we are finally going to take a quick look at the Redeemer Prime. So first things first, the Redeemer Prime, just like any other primed weapon, comes from the relics. You can get the blueprint as an uncommon drop from the Lit B6 relic, the blade as a common drop from the Meso Z2 relic, and the handle as a rare drop from the Axi R2 relic. And the manufacturing is pretty straightforward. You're gonna need one blueprint, one blade, one handle, and then 15 autokin cells as well as 15,000 credits. The Redeemer Prime is a melee gunblade that requires you to be at least Mastery rank 10 to use, and it does 80 damage per hit. 56 is slash, 16 is puncture, and 8 is impact. It comes with an attack speed of 0.917, it has 16% crit chance with an above average 2.2 times crit multiplier and 28% status chance. However, since this is a gunblade, you can actually shoot it by executing many of the different combos that come with the two different stances or doing a charge attack, and this will do 300 blast damage spread across 10 pellets because it's using the shotgun damage calculation, so each pellet is doing 30 damage. And the shots also have a 28% status chance and a 2.2 times crit multiplier, but the base crit chance is 0. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that you can't crit when shooting the Redeemer Prime, however, it is going to require some form of an additive crit buff, like Cat's Eye, to make it happen. Though then again, you will actually see a crit every now and then when you're shooting the Redeemer Prime, even if you don't have any of these additive crit buffs, and I'm not entirely sure whether that's just a derp or the crit chance isn't actually 0%, but it is extremely low, so it displays as 0, but can roll positive every now and then, or if it's just something weird going on with a stealth attack. Now, the setup I ended up using on the Redeemer Prime doesn't actually require any Forma, which is very nice, and I decided to go for a bullet dance type build, which focuses mostly on shooting. So the mods I'm running here are Primed Pressure Point for damage, Primed Fury for attack speed, Condition Overload so that the second shot does an insane amount of damage against any enemy that you've already hit. Then we have Drifting Contact for combo duration and status chance, Volcanic Edge and Voltaic Strike for radiation damage and status chance, and Vicious Frost with Virulent Scourge for viral damage and status chance. So as I've said already, this is mostly focused on shooting the Redeemer, so it doesn't actually scale crit, and if you do want to scale crit and you would rather use High Noon, this is the kind of setup you would probably want to run. So we have High Noon as the stance, Prime Pressure Point for damage, Berserker for attack speed, Blood Rush so our crit goes up as we build our combo counter, Condition Overload so we do more damage as we proc status on the enemy, Drifting Contact for combo duration and status chance, then Organ Shatter to get our crit multiplier higher, and finally Vicious Frost and Virulent Scourge for viral damage. But take this as sort of a last resort kind of setup if you really don't want to shoot the Redeemer, because the scaling doesn't actually work that well, right? You're not going to get the benefit of crit when you're shooting the Redeemer, which will happen even if you want to melee as much as possible, and you are also not going to get the big status explosion that you would get with the previous setup because you don't have enough status. Also, with the exception of the following simulacrum clip where I'll be using my Inaros, I'm using this on an Umbral Eternal War Valkyrie that's also running Steel Charge and Arcane Strike. This pushes any melee setup a step further because not only are you getting some extra damage from Steel Charge, you're getting an insane amount of attack speed from the Umbral Warcry and Arcane Strike. So I didn't want to use it in an actual damage showcase in the simulacrum because it'd be more of a showcase of that entire setup rather than the Redeemer Prime itself. Now, as you can see, this build, even without the support of the Valkyrie setup, can still do an absolute truck ton of damage. especially since I decided to switch away from Corrosive and Blast, where Blast was overwhelming the Corrosive, and I went with Viral and Radiation. And that works really well with Condition Overload, because the first shot will proc a ton of status and most likely proc Viral as well, so it will cut the enemy health in half, and the follow-up shot will get the benefit of Condition Overload on top of the enemy only having half their health. So surprise, surprise, the primed version of the Redeemer is insanely fun and it does an absolute truck ton of damage. Who would have thought? I mean, I knew this weapon was gonna be fun from the very start because I had a ton of fun with the original Redeemer and I did enjoy the Sarpa as well. So of course I'm going to recommend the Redeemer Prime because it's just an amazing weapon that everyone should at least try. And if I may, I would also highly recommend you give it a shot with an Eternal War Valkyr, because even though you're essentially using it as a very quick shotgun, it will still refresh Warcry through Eternal War if you kill something. And that's pretty much all I wanted to say, so I thank you very much for watching. As always guys, I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.